Mississippi State?
Very talented. I think the main pitcher was the pitcher of the week in the league. Does a great job of getting swings and misses and getting people out. I think he was SEC pitcher of the week last week. Very talented lineup at the top, particularly. Ace Reese, very dangerous hitter. Hunter Hines, I've always thought he was one of the better guys in the league over the last few years. Good bullpen, like really good arms out of the bullpen. I think they're a super regional Omaha caliber team and should be another great weekend.
Just your first Thursday, Friday, Saturday series of the year. Do you guys have to kind of work a day ahead with different things or with guys?
I would say it's a little busier, but there's some benefit on the back end. Like you get the Sunday off, which this time of year I think is really valuable. And then just kind of how it lined up, which we don't have a ton of control over. We end up with a full week next week, even though we're Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So try to look at it as a positive. I mentioned it last night, like the opportunity to be on national TV. It's like, why would you watch a Sweet 16 basketball game when you can watch LSU play baseball?
Do you actually unplug on Sunday, though?
No. Yeah, I don't even know what that means this time of year. Most times a year, but definitely this time of year. Yeah, there's a lot happening right now.
Is it on the phone, or you actually come to say?
It depends on the day, and depends on what needs to be done. I have a great home office. A little bit into process. Like tonight, Wednesday nights, I always stay here. And definitely am tonight because we have the less day. And coming off the game last night, there's a little more legwork, that needs to be done quicker. So, looking forward to a good night tonight.
Wait, do you have like a little futon here? Like, what do you mean you're staying the night?
No, absolutely not. No, I mean like work here tonight. Like instead of no. No.
You're pretty committed. So
Yeah, no. That's not a thing. I had one game here where it was a tough loss that I couldn't go to sleep. That I literally just woke up and came back in like early in the morning, and then eventually fell asleep on the couch. But other than that, it's always home. That was a while ago too.
I guess going back to the Sunday game, just what did you like about Kaysen being able to stretch out into that 3.2 innings of work? Just what did you learn about how far he can extend in the game when needed?
Well, he's going to be a starter here. Obviously, the pitch mix allows that. The talent allows that. I think this is such a big jump from high school baseball to this, and the intensity of the pitches that he has thrown. Key times, I'll go back to Omaha, DBU, Kansas State, and then we were able to get him a little bit of a break, but then I think he closed one of the North Dakota State games, that kind of crazy game that we had against them, and then we were able to skip him over a weekend, which was really good. And then I thought he was obviously sharp against Missouri, but with kind of how that's all worked, like you can't go from like 0, let's say 30 to 80. I thought he was just efficient, and his pitch mix allows for him to extend. We have to do that correctly. I think that's like, can't get a better guy than Kaysen Evans, so you got to take care of him too.
You mentioned that you want him, that he's going to be a starter at some point in his career here, but could that be this year?
I don't know. Like, I hope at some point, this year. But, like, when I think of, like, the most important guys in the program, I think of him. Thought of that when we got him, And so I don't really know how to answer that, because if I answer it, like, one way, it's like I have full confidence in the guys that are doing it. But he's a great pitcher. And as you guys know, whether it was Riley Cooper, Griffin Herring, Paul Gervais for sure on that first team that I had, one of the best guys is going to stay right there, because as we saw Saturday, if you don't have them there, it gets really hard to finish games against national championship caliber teams. And so it's a tough answer just from that standpoint.
So safe to say that it's probably going to be the same three guys this weekend, same work?
That's the plan right now. Yeah, that's the plan right now. I have more to work on with them, but that's the plan right now.
When you look around the SEC right now, anything surprising or standing out?
I don't know. You know, I just whether a team's 6-0, 0-6, 4-2, 2-4. Like these guys, like if you just judge it on an SEC record, you're making a massive mistake. It's an Omaha caliber team. So I don't put a lot of stock or what I think. And there's a lot I don't know. Like there's 5 teams we don't play. So I couldn't tell you like 3 players on a few teams' roster because we don't play them, you know. So I haven't really dug in it enough to probably to educate. I think the one thing I will say, it caught my attention. I don't remember what night it was. It was either Friday or Saturday because it was one of the night games. I just glanced up and they had all the scores up. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of runs. It's a lot of runs. Like that definitely jumped out to me in every single. There wasn't one game that was like let's say we lost 6-2 Sunday. That's a normal baseball game. There wasn't one score up there that looked like a normal baseball game.
I mean, just kind of building on the Sunday game, offensively, sometimes that stuff's going to happen. You talk about it all the time in baseball, just offensively not being able to maybe get it going, but to bounce back and to have 17 runs in the midweek game.
Yeah.
Just what does that do, I guess, for you in terms of evaluating kind of the mindset of these hitters, kind of where they're at?
Yeah, I think we had like just a mental approach to the game in general last night, which was good. And then we made just a small tweak, not a tweak, but just like a back to fundamentals, so to speak. Quick, like 15-second talk about what we wanted to do, and they did that, and we're really good. I mean, I don't know if we're leading the country in hitting, but I think we were leading the SEC in hitting, and you know, it doesn't take them long, you know, and it doesn't mean they're going to be perfect either, because, like I said, 2 guys really pitched well on Sunday, you know, and first game they've really been held down, you know, in 2 games. We've only been held down in 2 games through 28 or whatever we've played. So
You mentioned the high scores. Do you think that's just good for the game of college baseball to have the inordinate amount of 13 to 11 games, for example?
you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday, I think, that is a fan, definitely a fan, you know, not like a baseball person, and they were telling me how much they love it. Like it's so much more exciting when it's 13 to 11 as opposed to 2 to 1. And I was like, I get that. Like I just want to make sure we're on the right side of either kind of game. But I think it is. You know, I mean that's just one perspective that I got that of somebody like I trust that's into college baseball enough to say it's cool. And you know, like I said, I think Coach Burtman, Coach Polk, you know, since we're playing Mississippi State, they were way out ahead of it. Everybody built their field small. Homer became a thing. People started lifting weights, you know, hard in the late 80s, early 90s. And now hitters are stronger than they've ever been before. Pitchers throw harder, supplies more power. I think that the weather starts to get better this time of year. There's a lot of factors to it. And so sometimes you got to hold on to your hat. You know, but I think it's an exciting brand of baseball. And I'm in the camp of I don't want to go to wood bats, not for any philosophical deal or because I like offense. I think it makes college baseball really unique. I think having Jared Jones with an aluminum bat is awesome.
If you were a pitching guy, though, you're a hitting guy. If you were a pitching guy, would you have a different philosophy on that? Or
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It's that I think it makes it unique and different. Like, if you told me we were going to go 70-0 next year, if everybody's playing with wood bats, let's do wood bats right now.
Are the bats and balls dialed in right? Would you change? Dialed in right?
I am the worst like baseball equipment guy in the world. Like, thank God for Kurt Ainsworth and Marucci, because like I'm not. It's players like it. I like it. You know, I'm not. I leave that to other smarter people.
It's been a while since they messed with that, right?
Yeah, I think the last change. Well, so historically, and it was almost positive it was 2011. Like 2010, we were the old bats. 2011, it became the new bats, and it got way overcorrected. Like 2011 is like one of the hardest years in coaching like I've ever had. Like it was so drastically different of a game. And then I think it was 2015, we kind of got like recorrected where they did something with the baseballs and it was better or a little more normal. And then I think the players are just getting better and stronger. I remember in 2016, we played 8 games in Omaha. I think we hit 1 home run. So we played for the national championship hitting 1 home run the entire College World Series. Unless I'm really messing that up. I can only remember us hitting 1 home run in the College World Series. And then you go back in 21, and I mean, Ryan Holgate was a player out of Arizona. I mean, hits one 500 feet off Kumar Rocker, you know. And then they hit a couple home runs in that game. And then in 23, it's like Cruz, Dugas, Beloso. I mean, Florida scored 24 runs. Like, I think the players are getting better. Maybe the balls are a little livelier. I don't know, man. I like normal baseball, but yeah, I don't know.
What have you seen from Cooper Williams that you like?
I love
especially
Cooper.
Calvin, and do you see him
Yeah.
kind of playing more as the season goes on?
Oh yeah, he's doing great. You know, you have to bring guys along correctly. He's a great human being. He's a great competitor. He's incredibly intelligent. He's a good mover on the mound. He's already a little bit stronger than when he got here. I think he believes in himself. He's really competitive. And just as I said with Kaysen, he's a huge part of where we're headed. And, you know, we got him in the game on Sunday, again by design. And I pitched him on Tuesday because he's a guy that I think can get better and can advance. So our team will be able to advance. And he'll continue to get more reps because of that.
Kaysen and Zach are obviously known for their changeups, and in large part that's really helped their success. But have you looked into that pitch becoming more of a weapon for some other guys like William or even Connor Ware, who threw it a decent bit against Missouri? Like, could that pitch be something that can help a bunch of other guys too?
I think it helps any pitcher. I go back to like Greg Maddux, like that was kind of a calling card. His ability to throw it where he wanted and change speeds. Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs for a long time. I think he's still pitching. Maybe Angels. Is that right? Yeah. He's like a classic example of a pitcher that's been forgotten about, so to speak. And I think he can be really effective. And if a guy has it, regardless of who said pitcher is, it's going to help him be better.
With some of these bullpen arms that are maybe going through some growing pains or just learning lessons, I guess, over the first couple weeks of SEC play, how much is it devoted to the fact that they haven't pitched in these games before and they're kind of taking their lumps now so they can be better in the season type of deal?
Yeah, I think playing time, I've said this before, the best coach any player ever has is playing time and experience. And, you know, it gets lost sometimes because of with talented players, but they haven't been there, like in a lot of ways. But I think if you ask them if they believe they're going to succeed, they believe they're going to succeed, and I believe that they're going to succeed. So I think because of their talent and all of the things, like we all expect them to do well, and you know, they're going to do well, and in a lot of cases are doing well.
With some of the walk issues, do you think that's in part because you guys just have a bunch of do a lot of stuff, and it's just hard to rein that stuff in sometimes?
I think it's probably a better way to answer that guy by guy, because answer for one pitcher might be different than the other. You know, I think the guys that we put in the game, I definitely believe in them. And, you know, just as we've, constantly talked about with like Jared Jones over 3 years, and even 3 weeks before the season to the season opener, and guys getting better, like we're on top of that. We had a good meeting on Monday morning with a few things for a few guys, and I think guys will continue to advance.
In general, would you say, like even outside of your team, in general, would you say that's a decent philosophy? Not philosophy, but like something that is generally true.
I already forgot what it was. Sorry.
In terms of just stuff affecting walks. And
I
stuff happening.
would answer it this way. we'll just call it a generational thing in baseball. Like, people want to see like a measuring stick or results. Like, what's the easiest one is how hard do I throw? And so I think maybe this grouping of pitchers came up in a like, that's something they could attain through training, they could see on a radar gun, and they wanted to maybe go get that as opposed to execute pitches. And baseball is a give and take thing. Like, one thing I like about our offense is like we have plenty of power, but we don't have to sell out to get to the power. So like on the pitching side of it, the example would be, can you sell out to velocity but command your fastball per se, since we're talking about velocity? Some guys can, some guys can't. So what's the happy medium to where do I need to be in control of myself to throw the ball where I want to with having effectiveness that has enough intent to get the hitter out? So like the guys that rise to the top are able to blend like all those things together.
Going back to kind of the modern baseball question, and now what is recruiting, given that you got guys like Derek Curiel on the roster and that kind of deal? Thoughts on opening day, given that Paul Skeens is going to be the opening day starter, Dylan Cruz is going to be opening day starter, obviously just came out of your program, that being kind of a calling card for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think there's a lot of players on this team that will play in the major leagues, 1,000%. Talked to Steven, he's going to play in the major league someday. It's awesome. I think I want to be known for that. I do. Like, I want to be known for developing big leaguers. Let's call it John Calipari, Kentucky basketball, Nick Saban, Alabama football. Like, there's championships. But there's also, like, they helped a lot of players get to where they want to go. And I want to do both. And that's super important to me. And I do take a lot of pride in that. And it's not like it's been going on forever here, with Coach Burtman, Coach Maneri. But, I think those guys are there, and there's several more along the way. I expect Trey to make it this year. I expect Grant Taylor to make it this year. And there's guys that aren't on anybody's radar, that came from here that were drafted in the 13th round or 14th round that will find their way there, largely because of how they improved, what they learned while they were here, and they're prepared to go be successful in that. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I want players to draft players from here, not just because of who they are, and usually that's enough. But man, they're that, and they played there. Like, I think that's awesome if that's how we're known through Major League Baseball.
Any more for Jay?
All right, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.